Good. So tonight, the topic of our class is an introduction to the plant families. And before we started talking about plant families, and since we haven't gotten to know each other very well, we wanted to take a little bit of time to think about our own families as a way of understanding plant families. So we're going to spend a few minutes just thinking quietly, and then we'll share if you're comfortable to think about each of these questions, which would be, what are some ways that you would describe your family? And what is something that everyone in your family has in common? And why is it helpful to know these things about families? So we'll spend just like a minute or two thinking about our families and what we want to share about them, and then we'll go around and reintroduce ourselves and share about our families. And May and I will go first.
Yeah. I can't find my.
What?
Can I borrow you?
Yeah.
Okay, I do now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm following
I go. You already done this one. I go
up. Yeah, so we're going to share this one.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're gonna talk about Molly already mentioned. Now I'm gonna go through and we can working together, or we're gonna realize the crop family. Okay.
We're going to share about our families first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we haven't done this one yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some way you would describe your family? How?
So I can start by sharing what I would describe my family. So my family, my name is Molly again, and my family is very quiet, and they like to read books. And something that everyone in my family has in common is that we like to be together. So I think that it's helpful for my family to know about those things because it helps us relate to each other well. So, May, do you want to share something about your family?
I'm going to share my family. My family is kind of, we are speaking really soft, and we not shouting each other, and we say silently, and also when we do something, then my mom always just trick her eyes, then we know what is going on. And so we are localized, and when we talk the same. The sound is kind of similar. And so when they see it, we did not tell like whole group, but they know that we are localized, but they're not sure it's a family or not, but if we tell it, they know it. That's how family it is. And we look like mom, and some look like dad, and that's how we call family. Same thing as crop.
Anybody else want to share something about what their family has in common? Yeah, Trey.
Well, my family loves to eat. I'm a bread head.
Yeah.
I grew up farming and stuff, so I like to eat too. I'm not a big eater. I'm not a picky eater. I love food. You know what I mean? Different types of vegetables, fruits.
But everybody in your family loves to eat.
Basically, it is. And a variety.
Okay. Is there like a family specialty?
There are several, actually. A lot of different things. Pecan pie, pound cake, everybody else familiar with that? A lot of different things, you know. You love squash, okra, cucumbers, corn, stuff, watermelon, all that.
Anybody else have a family connection to share?
Very similar to his. My family loves to eat. I have 3 kids. They're very active, and my kids love to be outdoors with myself. So, like crops grow best outdoors. kids who enjoy the outdoors have a much better understanding of nature.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a special outdoor activity that you all do together?
It doesn't matter what it is, as long as my kids are outside, they're happy.
Great.
We were outside playing when it was 10 below outside. And we were outside in the recent snowfall, so it doesn't matter whether it's 100 or 10 below, they want to be outside.
Perfect.
It's true. It's true.
Who else?
Anybody else want to share a little bit?
I can say the same about my family too. We love to eat. However, we love to eat one food. I don't know, kind of like egg rolls, fried rice, cookbowls. But those are some of the dishes that my family loves to eat together. And growing up, I was always in sports, so my kids love sports as well. And it seems like my grandson, is going to be one of those who would love the outdoors as well. Every chance he gets, he always wants to go outside and go sliding or get a park and play.
Yeah, I think that's now we're gonna go on to what is something that everyone in your family has common? Why? Oh, we already done
Why don't
this
we,
one.
yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, let's go to her. Now I'm gonna go on to this thing, and so we can go together, okay? Plant also have a family. Why do you think it is important to know about plant family? 10 minutes. We're gonna use like 10 minutes only, right?
So just like we were talking,
Yeah.
sharing things about our families.
Yeah. And so no, we're gonna write and we're gonna answer too, okay? So write the farm answer on a big piece of paper. I can't read this one.
That's okay. So what do you think,
Yeah.
why do you think it would be helpful to know about plant families? I'm sorry, what did you say?
You know what's grow together?
Yeah. What else?
So some crops provide nutrients back into the ground that's taken out from
Yeah.
the crop.
What nutrients?
This is
Yes.
Compatibility, some of them work against each other.
And she said crop rotation.
Uh-huh.
I think we're gonna, yep.
Can you say a little bit about what crop rotation is? So everyone knows?
If you planted tomatoes in a spot in your farm 1 year, you wouldn't want to plant tomatoes in that spot again. So you would rotate something else there, like maybe a brassica or something like that.
That would also apply to other plants similar to potatoes. Tomatoes and potatoes should not be planted in the same area.
Right, right.
Potatoes and tomatoes.
Oh,
I'm sorry? Some plants do have gender. That's interesting. Think about. Any other ideas why we would want to know about families?
Do you know about the family? What is the family of the crop? Do you know that? And can you tell us what the family is?
It could be it has some more together or have it at the same time as growing in the maturing date could be the same.
Like how long it takes for it to get ripe? Yeah, so it's growing season?
Or
Or,
we say maturity.
oh, like the maturing date? Yeah. I'm gonna write days until mature.
Yeah.
So another
I
thing that plant families can tell us is both Trey and someone else mentioned what they like to eat. So that their families all like to eat food. So what could that tell us? If we apply that to plants, what could that tell us about the plant
Plants
family?
need to eat,
Yeah, they need to eat and they need to.
different soils.
Yeah, they need to eat and they need to drink too. Yeah. So they might need different soils and they might need different water amounts.
Mother.
I was gonna say, like, tomatoes, tomatoes, and, bell peppers, and, eggplants are the same family.
Mm-hmm.
And, those Colorado beetles,
Yep.
you figure out that which insects your
Uh-huh.
your plants.
What about
That's
Zoe?
what they say pests.
Okay. I'll just draw a bug because it's fun. A very ugly bug.
that one people don't like.
How are they pollinate, because the corn, we are planted corn cross pollinates each other. Black corn pollinates each other.
Yeah, so what can happen if you have two different things next to each other that pollinate with each other? They could.
Yeah, even the wind.
Uh-huh. Yep. Anybody else? Any other ideas? Did we get them all?
Yet, not yet, still some.
So
We don't have the, yeah, we need the, should we do the name?
another thing that we wrote down was,
Yeah.
I don't know why it seemed important at the time, but how they taste. Is that some plants you cook them similarly if they're in the same family, or they taste kind of similar if they're in the same family. Like a piece of broccoli might taste a little bit like a piece of cabbage. You can help people understand what your plants taste like.
And do you know that what kind is same family? Do you know that? Like what kind of vegetable is the same family? It's family. Yeah, people have family. Yeah, we are similar, but plant. Do you know it?
Oh, an example?
Uh-huh.
There's like the Brassica families,
Mhm.
your broccoli, your cabbage. What else?
It's winter, you can't be expected.
Romanesco. Getting cauliflower.
That's right.
I think even rutabagas, the Brassica. Can't remember anymore.
It's good. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so over the course of the evening, we're going to do 2 activities to help sort plants into different families. And we realize this might be different information, like this might be information that some of the farmers in the room already know, and it might be information that's completely new to some people, but we just want to make sure that we're all on the same page in terms of how we can identify what plants are in the same family, so we're all at the same level when we go into the season. So if this is something that you already know a lot about, I encourage you in your activity to kind of step back and let people who don't know do some discovering. And if this is something that's totally unfamiliar to you, to step forward and try to figure it out, even though it might seem really new. So we are going to do 2 activities. So as we've learned, be careful not to spill the cups. They're really easy to spill. There are many different ways to tell or to get clues as to what plants might be in the same family. And so we have about 20 different kinds of seeds in cups. And what you're going to do is spread the cups out on your table.
I can help you.
And you're going to look at what's inside. So they each have like a little bit of seed at the bottom. And what you're going to do is to put the cups, you're going to try to decide which seeds are in which family based on how the seeds look and feel. And so you'll put similar seeds, you'll decide how you're going to figure that out, and you're going to put those seeds that you think are in the same family together. No, just like cluster them together.
Yeah.
So if I think that this is in the same family as this, I'm going to put them close to each other.
Yeah.
And then we'll go through and share.
And before you guys start,
Oh, yeah.
I have one other thing to say. Not all of them have a matching family member. Some of them are all alone, because I've been having many students I thought I might have.
Writing them?
No, this is.
You sure Daisy writing them?
It's like it's.
I guess we got a lot to learn. Yeah. It's been a while.
It's amazing how tiny the seeds are for those, like, for watermelons.
Okay.
Tomato and eggplant, up there, and pumpkin watermelons. Lettuce.
Mizuna? Those are together?
And spinach.
Okay.
Onion
Okay.
and radish.
Okay.
Kale and collet,
Okay.
carrot,
Kira and what? Kira and beet. Kira and beet.
and lima beans,
Okay.
dill,
Uh-huh.
and soybean. No. Dill by itself.
Okay.
And soybean by itself and corn by itself.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You want to go, group number
3.
three?
Okay, 3.
Individual first,
Sure.
corn individually,
Okay.
onion individually, dill individually, beet individually.
Okay.
And then pumpkin and watermelon together. Eggplant and tomato. Lettuce and carrot together. And then we have spinach, kale, colored mizuna,
Uh-huh.
and radish. Root.
Okay. That's a big group.
And then bean, lima bean, soybean, and peas as a root. That's it.
Okay. Group 1. You look familiar? You look similar to that?
So, let's see. We did onion by itself, dill by itself, corn by itself. And then we did tomato and eggplant together, watermelon and pumpkin together. And then we did lima beans, peas, and soybeans together.
Okay.
This is one I'm not sure about. We did radishes, carrots, and beets together. And then we did a big group of greens. We did lettuce, spinach, mizuna, collards, and kale.
Lettuce, spinach, mizuna,
Basically all the greens, collards.
collards, and kale.
Yeah.
Okay. So, some groups, there's some overlap between these groups. So, everyone put watermelon and pumpkin together, and everyone put eggplant and tomato together.
Together.
So, how did you decide how to group your seeds? What did you use to make that decision?
Familiarity.
Familiarity with what?
Just
How it's grown.
I was gonna just say that to the seeds, like they resemble each other.
Like whether the seeds themselves look similar.
Well, they're pumpkin and watermelon anyway. All the other.
Yeah,
Similarity.
yeah. So, but you're talking about similarity of the seeds.
Right.
Yeah.
And how it's growing, like it grows in the ground, like a root vegetable or green.
Okay, so then there's also
Okay.
familiarity with what way it grows in the ground. So whether it's a leafy green, or a root. Okay. Anyone else have something else they use to decide? No. Okay, well, we're not going to reveal the real plant families until after our next activity. You seem upset by that, Moses. Do you have one grouping that you're feeling extra uncomfortable about? Okay.
It's good. We're gonna.
So we have one more activity that May is going to explain. I'll pass up the catalogs, and you can explain it while I do that.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna go by group, okay? And so you can check and you look for what we have in the catalog. And so we can go and we will find out what is the group. Look at the catalog. Yeah.
Look at the catalog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna have them. We're gonna have them look with a partner.
Okay. Okay.
Look through
Oh.
a seed catalog.
Okay.
Well, you want us to look at this?
Yeah, you look for the seed catalog.
Oh.
So
Do you want to know this organic color?
Do you want me to help explain?
no. Yeah. Yeah.
So for the second activity, find a partner. So work in groups of 2. So this could be someone that you're sitting next to already, or a group of 3. Okay, so 2. Everyone have their groups? Great. So what we want you to do is to look through your seed catalog. Some of you have High Mowing, and some of you have Johnny's. It doesn't matter. But to look through your seed catalog and using the information and the pictures to come up to try to find 3 plant families that each have between 2 to 4 different plants in them. So, like if I'm looking through and I think that eggplant is in the same family as lettuce, yes, which it's not, I would say, oh, I think that's a family, and I think eggplant and lettuce are in the same family. And then I also think that celery and chard are in the same family, so that's a second family. So I'm looking through the catalog to try to find clues as to what plants are in a family together. So you should end up with 3 families, and each family has at least 2 plants in it. Does anyone have questions about that?
It's clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to look at reddish.
Yes.
If it's in the spinach, no, in the carrot.
We put it over.
Yeah, they've got leaves on the top and they've got roots, so does it look or seem like it belongs with anything else in the catalog? Like, does it seem like it might belong with a rutabaga? Or
Cabbage and Chinese cabbage are there. Yeah, you can write it down something. What is the same family?
okay.
Yeah.
The only thing we changed was that we put the radish, the beets, and the carrots together because they're all a root type of plant.
Okay. So you use how they grew, like where they grew, to make them into a family.
Yep.
Okay, because they all grow underground.
Anyone else?
Willing to share?
Come on, share your.
Okay, we do cabbage.
Okay.
Do you want the name of the cabbage?
No. So just saying cabbage is fine.
But
Wait.
Different type of cabbage.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Like all the cabbages?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all in the same family. So you had 3 different kinds of cabbage that were in the same family?
Yeah.
Okay, what kinds of cabbage were they?
Coleslaw,
Okay.
Emerald, Primal, Vintage.
What was the second one?
Omra,
Omar. The
Omra.
Korean cat.
Okay. And what was the third one?
Primal,
Armo.
Vintage?
Armo vintage.
Primo. Vintage. T-A-G.
Okay. So those are all in the same family.
Yeah, because of the look, the feature.
Uh-huh.
And the taste.
Okay.
How they grow,
Yep.
the style of the pictures.
So how they look in the pictures and how they grow and taste.
How about the taste? Same, right?
Look at carrots,
Uh-huh.
potatoes, and onion.
Okay. And why did you?
Okay, go ahead. Why you decide that?
Because they grow the same way, on soil. And on the soil.
Oh, on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you judge it.
Yeah.
Okay? Good. Yeah. Anyone else? You?
There's so many things put together, and the catalog, they just leave the seed name and already do the language.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we've heard is that you've used multiple different ways to group things together. So you've used how they grow, like where they grow, what they look like, and how, like what they taste, to decide what plants go in each family together. Can anyone think of any other way that you could group plants together by looking in the seed catalog?
You can go, you just think this way. If I want to plant like same family together, what are you going to judge it? How do you going to decide it to put into one area? Is that
Yep.
yeah, could be season.
Yeah, sometimes the seed catalogs gives you the family name. That's very helpful.
Well, I guess here in Minnesota, there's only a certain amount of months that you can grow. So I guess you would look at, what plant you wanted to do that would be ready when winter comes.
Okay. Well,
So the seasonality. Yeah. So those are all really important ways of like looking at plants and trying to figure out if they are similar. So what we're going to do now is take like a quick break. Okay, we're going to get started with this beautiful color handout that you all got. What we're going to do with this is walk through the different families and just give you a really quick overview of the different families, and we can also look at this sheet to see if we got any of our groupings right. So I think when it comes to plant families, they all have a Latin name that is oftentimes hard to remember. And I don't really think it's that important to remember the actual name. It's mostly important to remember what goes together. So if you can't remember the specific name of the family, that's okay. So for example, this first crop family on the first page is called Brassicas. And you can see that the crops that are in that family are things like broccoli, cabbage, kale, cauliflower, radishes, which is kind of a surprising one, turnips, Brussels sprouts, and any kind of like spicy greens are in there, like mustards or arugula.
Or bok choy or radish, turnip, yeah.
So anytime if you're like struggling to think of the family, you can be like, oh, the broccoli family. That's fine. You don't have to remember that it's the Brassica family. And things that this family, certain characteristics, I think, is anyone familiar with? Zoe, you seemed like you were familiar with the Brassica family. I caught you mid-bite, though. Do you know any like qualities that they have in common?
They're both pretty stinky.
Yeah, they're stinky. They smell really bad when they start rotting. They're pretty gross. What else? Do you know any other characteristics?
They all get attacked by the green caterpillar.
Yeah. So this family has some bugs that are really strong in Minnesota. The bug called a cabbage looper, which takes really big bites out of it. And then, what, sorry?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay, and then another bug that's really tiny and black called a flea beetle. And so this family, has anyone had flea beetles on their brassicas? Oh yeah. I used to work on this farm that we would have flea beetles so bad they'd like start climbing on your legs. It was terrible. And it was in like a field, it was like in 3 acres of kale, and it's just like flea beetles everywhere. So I definitely remember that.
So when you're trying this, you have to cover them?
You have to cover them, yeah. It's a bummer. So I also think of, brassicas, I think of bugs, think of flea beetles and cabbage loopers, and I also think of them being really cold tolerant. So I think that they're the first things that you can plant in the ground in the spring because they don't mind freezing a little bit. They can freeze solid and they'll be just fine. So I think of them as being early in the field and late in the fall. So you can plant them some of the first things and you can plant them last thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Brassicas.
Okay. Now it's we call cucumber. It's a family of the cucumber, like cucumber, squash, summer squash, winter squash, pumpkin, zucchini, melon, gourds. Those are cucumber. And so those are, if have like pests, they're gonna eat the same. They love that. If you have like squash and cucumber and gourds together, then we call cucumber beetle, and one kind I don't remember the name, but
Is it the squash bug?
yeah, squash bug. And they're gonna eat same like cucumber. They eat cucumber leaf, and zucchini. They like zucchini leaf, and those are family of the squash. And so that's how we call it. And yeah, I think that's most important. And they are winding. And the flower, you can describe the flower. How do you know that? It's a flower.
Does anyone know what the squash flower looks like?
Okay.
It's yellow.
Yeah. How about cucumber?
Yep.
You
Also
okay?
has yellow flowers.
They're all yellow. Gourds are the same. They have the long stem and they have flower, almost like a zucchini. But a zucchini flower is when you have fruit, it's attached to the vine. But flower, they kind of shoot kind of tall, and the flowers blooming, right? And melon is the same. Cucumber is the same. The flower is kind of attached to the vine. And cucumber always winding. And leaf is big leaves, right?
And they're all itchy leaves. They're big, prickly leaves. They make you itch.
Some cucumber is like gourd. We call winter squash. It's gourd. All the kind gourd is kind of big, and they kind of, when they're ripe, they kind of white, and they have really furry, hairy, and it can poke your hand. If you touch really hard, it's okay, but gentle, they can poke your hand too. That's our same family. I think that's all I have.
Can I add a couple things about
Sure,
that?
you can.
So one thing is that all of these plants in the cucurbit family really love the heat. And so there are plants that you're not going to plant until you're sure it's going to not freeze anymore. Because unlike the Brassicas, which can freeze, if you freeze a cucurbit, it's dead. And another thing about cucurbits is that you can harvest from them for a longer period of time. So if you plant a cucumber plant, or if you plant like a watermelon plant, you'll harvest off of that plant for maybe like a month, coming in every couple days or at least once a week. So you get a longer period of harvest off of it rather than other plants where you might only harvest once.
Yeah, zucchini is when you harvest, it's little. You don't want it to really big, really long, and you just harvest certain size. And same pickle, just harvest little, not a big one. And slicer cucumber is certain size, depend the market like. And but squash, Molly already mentioned. Yeah.
And these are plants that everyone grouped together. So everyone got the cucurbits that we had in the seed game. Everyone got those together. Yes. Also, the next page, which is nightshades or solanaceae. I always call them nightshades. Everyone also got those right. The tomatoes and the eggplants, they're both in that family. So are potatoes and peppers. Yeah, so that's a bit of a trick. Yeah.
I've heard that you can plant, and I did it. I planted my potatoes earlier in the spring. It frosted, it just cut the top off, and they just grew right back up.
That's fine.
So that's kind of different than the others in that family.
Right, yeah. And so just like human families, in plant families, not everyone is exactly the same. So that is something that, like, some plant might have a little bit more tolerance of cold, or it might be harvested in a slightly different way. But you are very right on that tomatoes can handle a little bit of cold. So plants those are the four main: tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, and peppers are all in the same family. And that's kind of crazy to think about because potatoes grow underground, peppers and tomatoes and eggplants grow above ground, but they all look pretty different. Is your mind blown?
Is that why? Because I planted tomatoes and the potato beetles were eating them up.
Yep, that's why.
Yeah.
I know.
Because I was wondering why.
Yes, the potato beetles love everyone in that family. And did you plant any eggplant?
No.
They love eggplant best of all. They love it more than they love potatoes.
So plant eggplant along with the others and then draw towards that.
Yes, that is a technique to use. So the plants in these families generally take, especially in Minnesota, where we have a short growing season, it's going to take almost the entire growing season for you to get them to get fruit. So they've got to go in as soon as there's no frost left, and they'll take almost until it's going to frost again. That's like a bit of an exaggeration. But like, if you plant tomatoes at the end of May, you won't get them. Did I say potatoes or
Depends
tomatoes?
on the variety.
I'm sorry?
It depends on the variety.
That's also true.
Some have my tomatoes, the Amish, I plant the Amish, I harvest as much.
Yeah, so some varieties you can get earlier, but these in general take a long time to grow. So you've got to plan ahead for them. Potato beetles are a really big pest on all of them. And usually there's, especially tomatoes, have a lot of disease problems. So I always think of this family as like the family that takes a lot of extra work, but everyone like really loves them. So there's like a lot of investment in like getting your tomatoes so that they're healthy and they last all season long, but then people pay a lot of money for them. And there's a lot of investment in keeping the potato beetles off of your potatoes, but then everyone loves potatoes. So I just think of them as like the pickiest family out there. They're like the most fragile and crabbiest family, but they're also really delicious. What else? They all do need like some extra fertility, and these are things that we'll go over more like when we're actually doing them in the field, so you don't need to worry about remembering as much. But they eat a lot of food, and so you have to give them a lot of food before you plant them. Probably because they're so picky.
Okay, now I'm gonna go to we call bean and we're gonna call legume. Legume is gonna be bean and something that is we have like seed and they dry. Also, the family of legume is beans, soybean, peas, peanuts, clover, vest. Vest is we use for a cover crop, and so they are like. This is the root is filling the soil on the ground, and so when you when they dry, you just pick the pod and we have only seed, and so pea you can harvest when they still young, and we have some kind is shell peas, and also. I quit it. Yeah, peas like when you plant it, starting really earlier, and they have like how do you call? I don't remember the name. They go very short time, only 2 to 3 weeks peas, and if that they're gonna be mildew. It's mildew, really good mildew for peas. And so soybean, you plant it, just leave on the field, and so when ready in September or October, they harvest that time.
What is it?
Are you talking about mildew?
What is that?
Yeah, mildew is
If you leave the
peas.
If you leave the peas too long?
No,
Like a disease?
if not right time.
Okay.
They like cold climate only. They don't like hot climate. Yeah, peas. Yeah, like sugar snap pea or shell peas or Oregon peas, snow peas. Those they like only cold climate. You plant when April, May. You plant it. Harvest June, July, and August. Starting to have mildew, and you don't want to do in late.
So you're saying that if you plant peas too late, then you get problems with
mildew. You don't get it's not yellow. Well, mildew. Yeah.
But that is different from the beans. The beans is the one that can dry, right?
Mm-hmm.
The beans.
Yep. And now at this time, I think 5 years from now, right? Soybean attract, do you know Japanese beetle? They love to eat
They eat
uh,
everything.
soybean.
Japanese beetles.
Yeah, and basil. This time, I think 5 years from now, we have problem with that Japanese beetle. They love to eat grapes, soybean, basil. I don't get basil because population from free beetle. Yeah, and yeah, really not very good for that. And I don't know, we don't have anything to care about it for Japanese beetle. Okay.
They eat corn too.
Yes, they
They
do.
eat everything. There's nothing they don't eat.
They eat everything.
Everything.
Yeah, if they're done with the soybean, then they go to basil or any other. They eat everything. Yeah. Okay.
So you're saying that there is no like spray that you can spray
No.
the Japanese beetle that disease, that bug?
No, I with Minnesota Extension, Master Gardener, and we kind of, they have certain people searching for that one, and they can't find anything yet. Maybe this year, not sure. We'll find out.
There is,
Yeah.
there is a trap. There is a trap that you can put, but you have to put it far from your farm. Otherwise, it will attract all the beetles and the fall inside. I bought it. It's if you may not. I went to Minette and I saw everybody with buying this. I said, what is it? So I bought it. It comes with a bag and you have a finere. So when you put it in the garden, but if your farm, if your garden is here, you have to put it away from the garden. So it draws the beetles from there and they all fall into the bag.
I think it has to be like a quarter mile
Yeah, that's a
away.
trap. But you have to be careful, otherwise it will attract millions. If you put in a big farm like your farm, oh my God, every week they will be coming to the farm. So there's a trap for that. But bagging, you have to replace the bag.
So
That is the only way.
So I guess it's like an invasive species, right, from Japan? So what do they do about it in Japan, or what predator is it?
we don't know the hell with it, but the name just name the Japanese beetle. We don't. Yeah, we don't know.
Put it on the Japanese. I'm sorry, but like Asian farm, Japanese beetle, it's so crazy. If it didn't come from Japan, if they heard about it, they'd be upset.
I don't know how
I'm
do
sure
they
there's
call
a
it.
terrible story about the name of that beetle.
I don't know. I have no idea. But Allium family is they don't need much fertilizer. They usually feed you soil and you plant those because we use excuse me about my glasses, it bother me. We use the oaks and peas is fit your nitrogen into your field, or soil really rich in a Allium family. If you plant like soybean, and next year you plant corn, it's really they rotate it. That's why we say good for rotated and really good for the soil. Allium, yeah, and I think that's it. And so the rest is soil.
Yeah, legumes will take the nitrogen that's like in the air around us
Yeah.
and like grab it into the soil.
Yeah, and like grass and clover, it can be used for cover crop also. It's not bad for your soil at all. It's really good for you. The soil is proving organic matter into your field.
Okay, next family. This is my favorite family. The Allium family, which I think we only had one of.
Onions.
Yep, we had onions. So group number 1 had it on its own, and so did group number 3. And group number 2 had the onions with the radishes, which I can see why, because the seeds look similar. But, so the Allium family has onions, shallots, garlic, leeks, and then lilies, which are flowers. Onions, the plants in the Allium family are really cold hardy. Onions are some of the first things that we plant in the spring, along with the brassicas. You pretty much only do one planting of them. They take most of the season to mature. If you're going to get a bulb onion, they'll take about 90 or 100 days, so a little over 3 months to get a full-grown onion. So you plant them early, and then weed them, and weed them, and weed them, and weed them, and then eventually they're ready to harvest after you've weeded them a bunch. You generally harvest them in early to late fall. So here, I think last year we started harvesting onions around the end of August and finished them up. No, that was probably the beginning of September we started, and then we were done with them by the end of September. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. So the question is about when to harvest onions. So they grow with the bulb and then all of these green kind of like tube leaves coming up. I always harvest the onions when most of the plants that you planted have their stems that have fallen down. So they'll likely still be a little bit green, but their stems will have fallen. And then what I do is I pull them out really carefully, and if it's going to be sunny, I just let them sit in the field for a couple days, and then I bring them inside to cure. Yeah, there's different. Yeah, they're different seeds. So like a fresh onion, something that's called a fresh onion, you won't be able to cure it and keep it stored for a long time. Like I've got like 100 pounds of onions in my basement right now that will keep. Yeah. So some of them will start growing, but not all of them. Those are storage onions because I'm going to eat them until June. But fresh onions are ones that, if I tried to do that, they'd rot.
I think also when you harvest onion, you don't harvest it when you grow it. You harvest it.
That's true.
Yeah. When you just finish growing it, wait until you dry, when you harvest, leave them. Don't wash them. Leave them to sun to dry and make your hand and tie them up. Don't wash them ever. When there's water, or when you harvest, you can see that when the top is thick, it's not good. So the one that is kind of tiny.
So onion harvesting tips: wait till they've fallen over and their necks are kind of skinny, and when it's not going to rain. Hi.
Okay. It's
Yeah, Jeremy.
Why is it that they, like, garlic is a fall crop to plant in the fall to the winter? Why is it that they sell the garlic in the spring? Because at Menards place, I've seen this, I bought it last year to experiment, and they didn't grow during the summer.
Oh, well, they're trying to fleece you.
Yeah, because I just learned this week that garlic is planted in the fall and it starts up in the spring. But that they're selling garlic.
I was not aware that they sell garlic in the spring for people
garlic
to sell.
seed.
That's kind of naughty.
That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it would be possible for you to get like some shoots that like you could eat.
That's all I got.
But it would not give you like a bulb of garlic.
I did not get the ball. I just
Yeah.
got shoes.
Or
Yeah.
green. Or green.
Yeah, or like a little green
Yeah,
garlic, but nothing good.
Oh, I'm going to try this year to plant it in the fall.
Yes. Yes. Okay, next
Yeah,
family.
next one gonna be album. Help me out.
Umble.
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 I say I need help, okay? And so umble is it's a crop that same family. At the family name is ambo. Okay, like carrots, parsnip, parsley, dill, cilantro, celery. Okay, and celery and parsley, they are via transplant. Okay, those are transplant crop. And celery, we have two variety, and we plant like one variety is we call celeriac. Those are family of these two, and it's become a ball. And celery is when you use the stem, the stalk. It's a big, tall. Everybody know that. And dill, parsnip, you only plant one time and harvest one time. Carrot is this one time planting, but you can plant every other week if you want to continue to have fresh carrots. And we have different variety. The we have fall carrots and spring carrot. They call earlier. They have really many variety over there. They have purple, white, yellow, and orange. And so cilantro, you not plant and just harvest like every you cut it coming back is not only one time. Parsley, yes, you can plant it and you harvest many times. You plant one time or two times only. But cilantro, you plant every other week if you have market or you have like wholesale. You need to plant every other week. Same as carrots, same as parsnip, only one time, certain time. And so harvest when you read the Kerala and you read that and the day you're planting, how many days did you harvest on time? On time is sweeter and they are really good. Some carrot, but some are really, you can leave that on the field and keep harvesting.
The celery would be transplanted?
Yeah, celery and celery is transplant and parsley. Yeah, those are transplant. You need to start it in the greenhouse and repot it and transplant to the ground. Two times. You work 2 times until they get into the ground. Seeding and repotting and transplant. 2 steps.
If you know, so we had 2 members of the umbel family on our seed cups. One of them was dill and one of them was carrots. And if you look at the seeds, they actually look very similar to each other. The carrots are just smaller than the dill is.
And also the celery too. The seed.
Do we have celery seed?
Yeah, celery we don't have.
Oh, we don't have it on here.
Yeah. And gopher ground squirrels. What does that mean? Gopher eat it?
Yeah.
Okay, one thing is root crop like carrots and parsnip. If we have like a gopher, or we have like ground squirrel. No, it's gopher, right?
We have both.
Yeah, and also the mole. You know mole? They ate it. When they ate your carrots, you plant in line. They're really small. Okay, they eat over here. They started all the way on your line, but the top still nice and green because they're on the ground. And they kind of weed a little bit, but they got a root. Then the leaf is starting to green, and you don't know that it's underneath. It's already gone. Okay, and you watch out for that one.
How do you watch out? It's still green, but is there any way you can?
They're not super green, but you're gonna tell that they kind of turn a yellow bit, little bit, but you water it, they kind of starting to green, and you think, oh, they're really still really nice. But however, you're gonna see the mound of the soil, the digging hole out, and you know that. But we have trap too, and so we can use trap to get.
So you have to watch, you can only really watch for like the activity of the gopher, which you only see because you get big piles of soil that like on the ground. And then you know that there's a gopher close.
Is it true that the only way for organic farming, the only way you can get rid of gophers is by trapping? You don't smoke bomb them?
No, we only trap it. And also mold, then you're gonna see after raining and kind of not so wet. You walk under your field, you're gonna see it's like a mound, but they're not coming out, and soil is kind of puffy up, and you know that it's mold over there, and we have trap for that too. It's really.
What do you do with them after you trap them?
Throw them into the woods.
So they come
Actually, I cut their paws off and then I throw them into the woods. The township that we're in, at our farm, pays you money for every set of gopher paws that you turn in.
Into the county?
Yeah, and then they give you money.
I think
Yeah.
you guys need to teach
It's
us.
$1.50 per set of paws.
Paw.
I think maybe you are the expert on the gopher trap. That's what it is. We never catch one. They trick us. All the trap is set.
You gotta be attentive to your gopher traps.
Yeah, and the last thing is like carrots and parsnip, they like loose soil, and when you plant it, you need to do like bedding, and you plant it, you don't want to walk on it. You go on the side and try to keep them not too paddy. It's really good in that way. Yeah, I think that's any question at all? Okay.
Okay, we just have 3 more families to go through that we'll do quick, so if we can gather ourselves for the end. The next family it's called chenopods or goosefoot, and we had a couple of them up here, and I don't think they got grouped together. So this would be, let's see, spinach and beets are in the same family. Again, if you find the seeds, you'll see that the seeds look really similar. They're like kind of round and they've got some spikes on the outside. The other plant that's really commonly in that family is Swiss chard. So these ones, you mostly direct seed them, but you can also transplant them, so you can transplant chard. I know Lou has transplanted beets before, which is interesting. You can plant them frequently, so you can plant more than one crop over the course of the year. And you can also, they're fairly cold hardy, so they don't mind if it gets super cold. So you can plant them pretty early, and you can plant them pretty late in the year. They don't have many pest or disease issues that we've noticed so far. Henley?
I always thought char and collard green were the same family, but I guess not.
They are not. Do you know what family collards are in?
Yeah, the Brussels sprouts.
Yep, they're in the Brussels sprouts family. They're in the Brassica family. So chard is with spinach and beets. And then one thing you can notice is if you eat the greens on each of them, they all taste really similar. So that can clue you in to their family, a likeness.
Okay, we call pack. I can't pronounce.
Grass family.
It's a grass family. Then we have grass family. It's not that grass outside is it's not a family of the crop we have. And so we have like corn, popcorn, wheat, rice. I do plant rice in my greenhouse. I got one. And so oats, rye, Rye is a winter rye that we use for a cover crop, and I love them. Okay, and so also oats we mix with peas, we call field pea, and it can mix together and we plant. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, is like September, or I think it's the end of August. And so mix together and we plant it, and you're gonna use your land next year. Then you plant peas and oat mixed together, and they're really good for your fertility on your field. And so sweet corn is you plant corn is only one time planting, okay? Not you harvest it coming, you know that, right? Everybody know that. And field corn you can plant like one time, you harvest in the fall. And they don't like cold climate. They like hot climate, like temperature is hot. We plant corn only, I believe is May, mid-May or the end of May. And one time only. Also popcorn and rice, but here in Minnesota we can't plant rice. Only I like to do when I itching it only. Okay, and so I think that's it. That's all we have. Then on soil, corn is really feeder. I'm not sure it's feeder or not.
Oh, that it eats a lot. It needs a lot of nutrients. So if you should fertilize your corn when you plant it. The last family we have is short but sweet. It's the aster family, which has some flowers that we're not talking about, but it also has lettuce in it. So did any group put lettuce? No. So lettuce would be on its own in a family. And you can either direct seed it or transplant it, and you plant it a lot of times during the growing season. It grows pretty quickly, and it doesn't really have a lot of disease problems, and it doesn't require many nutrients. It's a pretty easy crop to grow. So that would be lettuce on its own in the aster family. Yeah?
What are the implications of growing like a lot of vegetables from different families? You just have to consider like how much nutrients they need and their growing cycles.
Yep.
Like all the things that are on these things are like all different.
Yeah, and that's great. You want a lot of diversity in your fields, and there's a lot of problems that come up with like growing only one thing, because then like they can all be wiped out. It all depletes the soil. You have a ton of pest problems, but it's what you want to be aware of it as you're planning your field. Any questions? Again, we're going to be going over this as we progress through the season, but we wanted to give a baseline of plant family information. Yeah,
Of our everything, we have to test looking at DA.
I'm sorry?
DA.
DA?
DA.
Deer?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we're lucky enough to have a deer fence.
Yeah.
Squirrel, you guys are friends.
Yeah, deer are a major problem, especially on lettuce. Especially on everything.
Sweet corn, they love it. And raccoon, like.
Yeah, I apologize for the omission of deer. They are a huge pest.
Don't worry, we have fans.
Rabbits also.
Yeah.
There's a solution to your deer problem here. I'll tell you later.
Okay, I want to know.
Okra?
Okra.
I'm gonna look that up.
So what about bring fruit with vegetables?
I think that okra is on a family on its own.
think could be fit into corn because it has stalk.
I don't think it is.
Or Jerusalem.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
But we don't have that.
I don't know. I think okra is in a family that's different from all of these other families.
So if you're on,
60?
for example, like lettuce, if you're on their own family,
Yeah.
they can grow really in space between the other family.
No.
They can be close together like this.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, they'll be just fine. Any other questions?
Okra.
I will find out about okra. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming to class tonight. Laura, do you have any
Yeah, I
thing
have
you
one
want to
last
say?
thing. So,